So whilst every other content creator is out there baiting views with the most this and the more turbos that, I'm over here getting excited about being able to move the freaking engine around. Allow me to break out my example clip of the moment of inertia. It's not only a 50-50 weight distribution that helps, but having it as close as possible to the center is also very important. Okay, that's enough of that. Get that away from here. In front of me, I have made an homage to an old Lotus Elise, the first version a little bit, but with a big, heavy V8, for making the example as pronounced as possible. And we're going to move that big, heavy V8 around to see if it actually affects anything within BeamNG, but also whether the effect is noticeable and worth even bothering with. We're also going to play with this slider to see if it does anything. No, not that slider. God, Phil, stop being such a boomer, Phil. Oh, God, nobody remembers that show anymore. Anyway, yeah, okay. But now we've got the normal standard version. This is just a baseline that will help me know from where we're coming from. Next step up is we're going to go ahead and make a clone. Gonna go in here, we're gonna edit this. We're gonna name this one F for moving the slider forwards. So currently we got like a 65% rear, moving this forwards, and automation says no, we now have a 61% rear bias weight. Then we go ahead and export that. Okay, I just realized what this slider does. I thought it might move things like, how a lot of vehicles will have a battery on the opposite end of where the engine is, kind of like move the radiators around, all that sort of stuff. I thought that's what this slider does. It turns out what this does is move the engine around. That is not what I was expecting. But now we're going to go ahead, we're going to clone this again, and this is going to be engine forward. And one thing you may or may not know about this is I can move this as far as I want. Oh, no, that's the end of the slider. What a pity. There's nothing I can do, right? Well, actually, I can put my mouse over here and I can scroll it as far forward as I want. Yes, look at that. We now have an actual true mid-engine car. It's right in the middle of the vehicle. Well, maybe not. Let's line that up exactly where it might be in the middle. Right about there, I think. Yes. All right, this will be quite interesting, actually. One thing to note, though, this doesn't actually change it in automation. So that's why there's a little bit of skepticism as to whether it might work over in BeamNG, but right now we're going to find out. So here we have our cars, and let's have a quick look. Unfortunately, for some reason, Plus isn't exporting correctly. But as you can see here, standard engine placement, Control N will bring up the nodes, and we can see engine 1 is in line with the front of the engine. Engine 0, engine 4, and engine 5 mark the nodes at the front of the engine. Next we have standard F. So this is the normal one, but the slider is moved forwards. And what do we got here? Oh no, engine nodes are now further back in the engine because this engine is moved forward. So this doesn't look like it's actually changed anything. All right, final hope for redemption. What do we got? What? Oh, that's right, yeah, engine's all the way up there. But what about the nodes? No, the engine nodes are still back here. They're nowhere near this thing. Oh, that is unfortunate. That's a big fail. I've got a lot of extra nodes here because I decided to make an interior, which I'm now kind of regretting and thinking that was a bit of a mistake for something which doesn't really need an interior for. But the other thing we can test, I suppose, is we can check something out. And that's our weight distribution. So we got 216 on the front, and on the rear, about 320-ish. The next one over, about 300, so 1 kilo lighter on the front, and if we average this out, about the same on the rear. So this slider has not changed a darn thing. Okay, what about the final one? Our final hope. About the same on the front, about 216, though it's a little bit heavier on this one. The rear is pretty much exactly the same. So it has not changed a single thing. You know what? I had a whole lap thing I was gonna do. I was gonna go test the G-forces and everything, but we have been let down. Now, I know the exporter can't be that hard to change where the nodes are for the engine, because I've done it myself. It's not the hardest thing to do. This is severely disappointing. And on that bombshell, well, that's basically the end of the episode, because the only thing really to do is just to show you what this car handles like, because I did actually spend a little bit of time making this one. The details and the design aren't the greatest, but I spent quite a bit of time, probably about an hour and a bit, just getting the tune to be quite nice on the suspension. It's quite balanced, a little bit of understeer, but otherwise we're going to be getting a lot of oversteer. It still does pretty well though, but the thing is it holds a very good mid-speed corner, except the fact I'm talking right now. So talking and driving don't really go hand in hand. I mean, even people like Erman Munster or whatever his name is, I can never remember his last name, but it's Erman something or other. He did a few videos where he was talking during the thing, and the struggle was quite real. When he went to go back and revisit some of it, you'll notice that he was actually doing voiceover for it. So, I mean, you can't expect a huge amount. Now, if we go around the slingshot, we're going to see that this vehicle handles quite well. Now, this is about, I think, just shy of 350 horsepower. It's got 250 kilowatts. So it's quite a beefy little car for only being a ton. I want the ABS to be more smart with automation exports. I don't know whether it's a BeamNG issue with ABS or it's an automation problem with ABS. But that is something I would like to see fixed in the future. But for now, this is just a really fun car. I will put it down in the description. I'm not going to upload all of them, but you can have access to at least one of them. But for now, I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye. Just a little bit of a note by Editor Phil here. I forgot to mention that this is actually an open alpha build version of the game, and that means that it won't have a full feature set yet, so this could still come in the future, so this expose on automation lies may be a bit premature. Now goodbye for real, so stop watching.